Thank you, Dibedo. Hope I'm saying the name right. Oh boy, let's not see the prestige of being a princess, shall we? The murderers have resurrected. Jeepers. Okay. Isn't there something about in here that... Bugger. I thought there was a door in here that led to a forge or something. Or was I mistaken? Probably in a different tavern or something, am I? Bugger. Get out of my damn way, you slugs. It's like a game of catch me if you can. Tavern in here that led to the forge? No. It's weird, I could have sworn one of these taverns had a doorway that, or a hidden place that led to forges. I think it was the one for the Flay dungeon. probably not going to let me do this with him. Probably going to go out of range. So far it's working. What's what now? Nasty. Yummy. 100 implodes, now that's what I'm talking about. How do? Welcome to the stream. As I run around collecting shit and trying to remember the stuff that I have long forgotten. There's nothing in amongst this water if I remember right. No, nothing amongst any of this. Unless I think there was a... I remember one of the houses down here had a forge in it as well. I think it was this one that had the... Get away. I'm nearly sure there was a forge in here somewhere. Nope. Not near either. Weird. I don't know where I thought some of these places might have had ones. Unless I'm thinking of completely different towns. No, there was nothing in amongst Corehagen. Let's see, what else could I be possibly missing? I do think there was a rune I have to get in here before we go to Malik's Bastion. It's always one of my favourite locations. This is actually a location I'm looking forward to remaking. I always forgot there was a werewolf in here. I always found it interesting. Maybe Vorador knew something about the werewolves and never told anyone. That was all there was to get in here. Okay, let's go to Malik's Bastion now. Walk through that place and we'll learn what we can about it. First things first, we can see what's inside this door. Just a save point and teleport. Teleporter probably just take me out of there. Oh well, it's handy to know for the future anyway. There's nothing else in this area, was there? Nope. Let's see what's in here. Okay, originally I went through this purple door that took the shortcut, so I'll take the long way around this time. We'll take a look. Some spinning axes. Ball in this room. Blocked off windows. Spinning axe. Pass. Oh. Can I be took off? Nope. Well, that's a bugger. Will it let me jump over there now? Nope. They didn't think this out very well. If I zap the switch. Nope, that didn't do anything either. Well, shit. That's awkward. There's no running out of this room. Oh well. Back to Sanctuary, I guess, and redo it. Guess there really was a use for Sanctuary. Cook the spooks. Okay. We'll go back, and this time we won't pull the switch. Didn't need a shield in this place, considering the complete lack of blood around this area. Still. Oh, damn. Looks like everything's sealed up to me here. Guess once Malik's dead, they won't let you go exploring. Miserable gits. Oh well. We'll find a few other little secrets instead. Shall we? Should I keep the ghosts? I think it's a little weird. Should I maybe just have like some weird like wandering souls a la Soul Reaver, or just keep the spooks like that, just repeating their old routines only as ghosts? Always seems a little weird to me. Let me know in chat and comments what y'all think. Let's see, where next? That place is no good until I get to the moon cave so I can get the electric spell. Where was the location that got you the lost city? Or I think that was a full moon cave as well, wasn't it? The lost city area. Instead we'll go kill exclude this guy, he's keen. Where traditional sword for the human enemy is just to be able to munch on them. Okay, let's go. Oh, the butt of the doll maker. Thanks. The hell? Oh, I'm gonna die. God damn it. How did I get through there? So many bloody armies. Fine, we'll take the scenic route. Nope, that was the wrong way too. Oh my god. Where the hell? Oh boy. Okay, well if I have them, I might as well zap all these buggers. Line up, folks. Line up and feed me your blood. That was always one of my problems with the repel. It's just too damn strong. Between repel and chaos armor, you could basically survive everything. They made it it's a bit too easy. Crest an eagle? Yikes. gotta burn these guys to kill them completely, wasn't it? Damn it. Go. Ah, there we go. There's the doll makers. Something in that little island of ice, I think, wasn't there? At least a couple of pickups. Well, I heard a Clixo was the secret. Not a very well hidden secret, but still. Slippery little bugger. Damn it. How the hell am I out of magic? Help me, kind sir. How many doors were in here? Get lost, Teddy. Come on, pull the switch. Drat. It's a good thing they survived. Get off me. Give me some space, you bugger. Your carpet is frozen. See, this is why this game needs multiple skill buttons. I like how much faster the switches and transformations are with the thanks to this patch. Hey! Has to happen sooner or later.
Dollmaker, I have no time for these games.
The soul is mine! I earned it! Otmar gave it to me!
Then you shall earn it with blood.
You shall not have it! Mine! Mine! Mine!
They Victus! They Victus!
Farewell, my love. I was lucky to have made you.
They Victus! What an odd little man. Now, to find the soul.
I think I'll have to do something to increase Eldevir's fight mechanics a little more. His attacks are pretty much basic. Walk and fire an arrow.
Elzevir imprisoned the girl's soul in a small iron doll. The old man's intentions I shall never know.
Thank you for following. Much appreciated. So there's something up here.
Hey, Victor!
Oh, come on, I'm much more entertained than the UFC.
Hey, Victor!
Stream any of the other games. No, once I finish this one, I might every now and then continue and play some of the other ones as well. Maybe stream through the whole series, just for the shits and giggles of it. But this one, I'm basically replaying this one just to reacquaint myself with a lot of the locations for the remake. Yes, I'll probably play through the Soul Reaver games and Blood Omen 2 as well. And the whole kit and caboodle. Oh no, it's always a series you can always go back to. At this point, I doubt we'll ever see an official completion to the story, considering I've various members of the voice cast have all passed away at this point. Vorador, get away. I think it's been Vorador, Tony J, and I forget his name, but the fellow just recently voiced Giannis also died as well. So I doubt we'll ever see at least an official sequel. So I'd love to see the Soul Reavers all in like the current gen graphics and all. See the big spectral shifts in on like a PS4s and PS5 graphics. Ooh, on PC of course. Big 4K screen on a PC to see the big spectral shift. Oh, that would be impressive. But who knows? Maybe if I'm lucky with if I get enough support with the series, I might be able to get my hands on leasing the IP and actually make the sequels myself. Because I did actually. I've always told the fella I've read a series of fanfics on on one of the fanfic channels. And the fella made like I think he had like 6 to 7 book series on the follow-ups after Defiance, and it's a pretty good story. I've always told the fella and joked with him, if I ever do get a chance to make a sequel, I'll probably use his story as like a basic platform of where to start of the sequel. Because even although it's a fanfic story, he even has like voiceovers and the thing, and it all starts it's very much feels like a game as you read it. It's fine. It is unfortunate that they just don't see the value of the single player games anymore. Not many of the companies do, unfortunately. They all want the big live services and online games. And unfortunately with the Soul Reaver series there's pretty much nothing that can be done with it online. The Nosgoth game basically proved that. But I think, but considering the fact that they've said themselves though they don't really have plans or much to do with the series anymore. Like, so they have been open to the option of letting indie devs do some work on it. I do think she's still a big fan of the series. I think I saw a report in her like last year or something as well. That's even she was saying like, it's a shame that just most companies don't see the benefit of single player story driven games anymore. I think now it's up to the indie developers now to just follow on with the series. Ooh, that door's closed. What am I missing? But the minute though, unfortunately Blood Omnicide has stopped. But as far as I know, I think the team working on the Soul Revenant is still active and ongoing. Who are remaking the original Soul Reaver game. Why are none of these doors open? Have I missed something? Oh yes, of course I have to go back to Otmar. What a twit. Brains or gunpowder? I couldn't blow my hat off. Let's just avoid the fights with the guard, shall we? To the king!
I entered the court with the doll-maker's head in one hand and the doll containing the girl's head in the other. I placed them both before the king and watched his eyes.
Oh boy, what's this? Oh dear, freeze up. She definitely took the story in a direction not many expected. with some very nice twists and turns. Unfortunately, like most plots and stories that involve time travel, you always have a few little plot holes that end up happening.
We shall die today as heroes, lest we live tomorrow as slaves. Ready thine arms for Nosgoth!
In the distance, I saw the Nemesis armies march forward, a black tide that would soon wash over the armies of the Hope.
Now this was always an impressive scene. Just to see them all just going crazy on the battlefield, just corpses and bodies everywhere. Oh, where the hell's Otmar? Oh, Otmar! Where are you big dumb lug?
They came at me in throng.
Ah, there he is.
No fervor as strong as that inspired by a madman. The Nemesis armies were fierce and showed no signs of subsiding.
Suppose for this scene, I'm gonna have to remake a. I'm gonna actually will have to remake Otmar completely. A lot of the models you always think you only see them in cutscenes, so you don't really think you have to do much with them. But for this scene, Otmar obviously will have to be remade. And this whole army in the trap scene is. Ooh, it's gonna be weird. Blood and Wine would. Blood and Wine would generally be my favorite. Although I did also like Defiance. A lot of people hated Blood and Wine too, but I didn't mind it. It did add enough without really breaking too much of the lore and history. Just kind of. I don't when I like it added to it so much as it didn't so much take stuff away, it's just add things to it. Which I always think's fine.
The Nemesis and his horde fall upon us.
Oh, King is dead. The king is down.
Here I can not up no longer. The Nemesis must be destroyed. For my daughter Cain. For the world. The tides turned with Otmar's death. I watched as the remaining survivors of the armies of Hope fled to the safety of the forest. The battle had decided its victor. The fate of Nosgoth now lay in the Nemesis' hands. I sated my thirst on warriors of Horde and Hope alike, the dying relinquishing their final moments to give me strength.
Yeah, the combat for 2 was very. It was extremely blocky. I like the stealth kills that came with the whole mist form thing. I thought that was interesting, but the rest of it was very slow and tanky controls, which was a far cry from just how Soul Reaver had been. Waste not, want not. Where am I going now? Up to the pillar up here. Or tower. Oh yeah, this was the back in time part, wasn't it? Time to pay dear old poor William a visit.
The ground was caked with blood and dirt. There was lush greenery, where chaos reigned only moments before this damning calm prevailed. Alas, it seemed I was stranded. The time-streaming device lay in pieces at my feet.
Would you stand idle as vermin destroy your crops?
What, to remake Blood Omen, you mean?
Will you allow this evil to continue? Will the wickedness end? Yes! Do you believe? Yes! your king so that I can prepare you for the onslaught.
Well, actually, that's actually what I am doing. I'm remaking Blood Omen. I'm remaking it for the for consoles and hopefully or for the PC and hopefully consoles as well if I can get all the programming right. I'm using the Unreal Engine 4 to do it. It's basically the engine of choice of Square Enix, so that's probably another reason why they permitted me to continue. I even contacted them about it and asked them could I continue remaking it.
Iron sword.
And they actually, I was actually surprised that they permitted me to do it. I'm allowed to. I basically told them what I had planned for it, and that my version was going to be a full 3D third person. And they seemed pleased enough with the idea. I think that might be one of the reasons why they never promoted Omnicide, unfortunately, was because it was basically a remake of the original, right down to the isometric look down view, which I don't think they're pretty keen on much anymore, unfortunately, which was a shame because I thought that game looked brilliant. But mine will be the Witcher style, just over the shoulder, third person style gameplay. Yeah, I got permission from them. Yeah, I spoke to their director of indie development, and he basically said, I can continue with the project. He'll inform their legal team, so I'll be getting no cease and desist letters, and if all goes well with the project, once I finish it and they go through it with their legal team and make sure everything has the right development license and all, so it can all be used legally without any kind of copyrights and things and all, bar any of that they'll even release it for me for free of charge to people. So the game will even be published. Originally I was speaking to them about because I've been going for a long time of just remaking the thing myself, and I was contacting them to see if I could get some sort of like Kickstarters or Patreon going to try and help me speed up the development a bit, because everything's been going so slow. So I was speaking to them and I was saying, like, was there any way I could get like Kickstarters or Patreon to get some sort of be able to buy a few programs, to make things a bit faster. Unfortunately, they didn't want to do that. I think they were a bit worried of it being basically because it was a solo project. I think they were a bit worried that just one person, remaking it, because they see like some Kickstarters and Patreons as a pre-order system. So they didn't want to have people thinking they pre-ordered a game, then it could end up probably never being finished by a solo developer. But as I said, I'm allowed to use I'm allowed to accept donations, and I'm allowed to buy like official assets and such, like from the Unreal Marketplace and other like official marketplaces, stuff like that. So that all helps and benefits it. It's just still slow going, unfortunately. Make them look worse. Considering the money they make off their MMOs and things, I don't think they worry too much.
seemed I was in the land of William the Just, 50 years before the battle I had just escaped would take place.
How long am I going to stream? I'll probably do this a little while, about another little half hour or so, and then carry on remaking Malik's Bastion in the Unreal Engine. It's always the downside. I never game for too long these days anymore. I basically just always want to keep doing the work on the remake. It's a project something I thoroughly enjoy doing. It's if I could, I would literally just stay at home every day and just work on the remake. Unfortunately, that can't be the case. Why am I boring you? Wouldn't be good financially. How do you mean? Might have to tweak up the AI a bit for villagers. I might make the villagers scared of me if I start attacking them in the street. I just assumed you had a job. That's the reason you could. Unfortunately, I do have a full-time job, which unfortunately takes me away from doing more on the project. Basically, it has to be done because since bills need paid, and a lot of the assets I have bought, I've had to buy myself. So it's always a matter of just buying what I can when I can during sales and such. Okay. Hopefully, if I'm still around, you'll see me here. Probably take me that long anyway, just to get the William. Yeah, I imagine not many people play this one and stream it anymore. Oh, I support. I definitely have to keep my work on it. Even though it's an old game, the fan base has been very supportive of it for a long time.
force Nosgoth on its knees.
They could have tweaked up those swords a little bit. They all look a little bit too much like the Reaver. But I'll be sure to fix that. Plus, I think on the remake version, I'll have to also tweak up this keep a little bit, so that when it's for William, it's a little less black and red and more of a style of William the Just. Nemesis style can come later then with the future version of the castle. Yeah, unfortunately, the phones never last very long. Now this is weird. Why the hell would you have these guys sitting here amongst all the wet? Unless he's looking to drown the poor buggers. Of course I use blood gout maybe. There we go. A little bit of food. Where the hell did you come from? Okay, where the hell am I here? Oh yeah, wasn't this I think this was like a a puzzle trio of switches, if I remember. Cannot for the ruddy life of me remember what the freaking combination was. Where's the area that brought you to the platform that had William talking to Mobius? I know it was in this area. I don't know. I don't know if it was strictly hell or more just the hell, one of the various hell dimensions that the Hildum were actually transported to, since the Hildum were speaking to him while he was there. So I imagine it was. I think it was more likely the dimension that they were sent to. I think that was more of where he was sent. But it pretty much would be close enough to close enough to being held. Definitely an unfriendly place, that's for sure. Wow, that collision was bad from that angle.
Yes, these weapons you provided will see to that. Pray tell, Mobius, what gave you?
None, my lord. I only wish to aid you in vanquishing your foes. The weapons are but a token of my goodwill.
And the news you bring, a vampire said to slay me? Where did you come upon such knowledge?
It is of no consequence, sire. It was only out of concern for your majesty's life.
Perhaps. Very well, then. You may leave me now, but should I wish to speak to you...
I will know, your majesty, and I shall be there in time.
That damn slippery Mobius. Ever the trickster. Yikes. Ooh, damn. Man, these guys do not like me. hell do I get out of here? Just have to kill these guys. That's the only thing I can think. Yeah, there we go.
Energy bank. Nupraptor's head. Alas, poor Nupraptor. I knew him well. Well, not really. Implode.
Any big secrets? The game itself, I think, had like 100 secrets, like built into it, all coded in. So it had quite a bit of replay value back in its day. To have over 100 little secrets and switches and things. I think the biggest one for a lot of people though was the hidden ship that could be reached. I think it can be got somewhere in Vassabond. Took you to a big a little hidden pirate ship that actually also made a cameo in I think it was the original Soul Reaver as well. They showed a little there was a wee very low poly ship in there. It was kind of like it's supposed to be the representation of the pirate ship again. More switches Palooza. Drowned out. I can't remember where it was located. At least in Soul Reaver. I know in this game it was it could be got somewhere through a wee door hidden at in Vassabond before Nupraptors. But other than that, I don't know. Can't remember where it was based back in Soul Reaver. Now I gotta find the right combination to open that door down the bottom. Oh, there we go. Ouch, 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 ouch. Holy hell. Down, boys. Probably seen, you probably just never remembered it. It was always unless you really knew a lot about the Blood Omen 1, not many people would remember it. Where the hell did you come from? Yay, a save.
Ah, yes, the vampire. Mobius told me you would come.
That's another thing I think I probably will have to change with the voice of William. Unfortunately, we as much as we want to, we can't have Tony J as the voice of everyone. Ortanius, the Elder God, William the Just, it just doesn't work right. Ooh, damn, that thing hits hard. Come on, give me some magic, give me some magic, give me some magic. Spread out over multiple games you wouldn't mind, but just doesn't have the same appeal over the same game. He's definitely quite souped up. I should have put on my
Implode.
There it is.
Energy bank.
It should get me through this fight. Come on, you big lug, die.
The accents. The Soul Reaver.
There we go.
His guards rushed to save him. William the Just's blood was already renewing my strength, replacing the life his sword had stolen from my veins. The poor fools come to aid their fallen leader.
Ooh, nice touch. They even have the little the Soul Reaver broken on the floor. Very nice touch. I never even noticed that before.
Iron sword.
Yeah. Until you like watch the Soul Reaver series and all, and you see the broken sword and their cutscenes, you don't actually think about it at the time. But yeah, there it is. The original. They actually did, even in the right back in the original game, break the Soul Reaver sword. That's pretty cool. That's a nice little attention to detail.
Streaming device. Strange. When coincidence seems too convenient. With William the Just dead, Mobius's plans have been thwarted. His pawn was removed from the game.
Okay, I'll make this a separate save. Funny though, you go back in time and the guards are still spooks. I remember the first time I played this, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Where'd he come from? Yeah, that's the Chaos armor. It was always my favorite. It was basically the one I always ended up wearing. I don't think I ever really wore the Wraith armor or the Flesh armor much at all. Just the Iron armor, just because you start with it, and the Bone armor at the second, just because it was a bit more useful. It was for around the dungeons, around the start area when you had all the skeletons and undead. But since I always got the Chaos armor, it basically just became the armor I wore right to the end of the game. Can't wait to actually start remaking his Chaos armor again soon. I'm just wondering about the style, what way I should tweak the style up a bit. I don't want everything looking exactly the same. A little variety, as they say. Broken wall. I must remember that part. Must remember that part. Front and back now, minus the steel underwear. Okay, down here. Okay, just basically keep going down. We'll have to make it so when you're returned back and forward in time, you're not dealing with ghosts, but real humans again. Because Kane hardly strikes me as the type who's being haunted by the ghosts of his past here. These guys. What is that? Steaks? Looks like vampire hunters with stakes there, I think. The wasteland.
I found myself once more in the Nosgoth I knew. The carnage from battle was gone. Yet there was something amiss. From the distance, I heard cries, and a breeze from the south carried with it the faint odor of vampire blood.
Oh, this part. I always hated this part. It's because of the scene Vorador get his head cut off. I like Vorador. He was a badass. One of the things I'd almost be tempted to do if I ended up getting leased the rights would be to make a Vorador spin-off.
With their sainted King William dead by my hand, the people of the land were consumed by a hunger all their own for vampire blood.
Yeah, I always think if it came right down to it, Kate and Vorador would have a serious knockdown drag-out.
As I wandered about more, the shrieking and cheering became more apparent and defined. There was some sort of gathering to the south, for with each cheer, I smelled an outpour of blood. I make no pretense to justify my killing, yet these vampire hunters would cloak their bloodlust beneath a veil of righteousness. Hypocrites! They would make themselves judge and jury. Very well then, let us see how they take to my role as executioner.
I always loved how in this series that the humans were always just painted in the worst possible light. There was basically nothing that was ever redeemable about the humans. I mean, the Hilden were victims, the vampires were victims, the Elder God was a villain. Humans were just sneaky, bloodthirsty so-and-sos. Pretty much true to life, I guess. Here we go. No return from this point.
you spare one wolf in the pack that has devastated your herd? No! Then let us destroy them all! He is the last! Destroy him!
The people will not rest until Nosgoth is purged of your kind.
What do you mean, like a new game plus type of thing? Where you play the game with all his abilities intact?
I had been betrayed. In my haste, I had not realized it before. That sigil on his forehead, the Oracle of Nosgoth, was in fact the time streamer Mobius, and I had followed his advice. How much of my quest was of his design? North, the battle of the last stand, William the Just? Was this the trap he had fashioned for me?
We will send you back to the grave, whence you came, vampire.
I have seen the future, Ken. You are not.
Oh, in the previous games? Technically, I think he mostly does. He has like a super jump and such now. Just by the time of Defiance, I mean, by the time you got to Defiance, Kane really didn't need all the abilities that he has here in Blood Omen. Most of these little spells and abilities like were really only useful towards humans and such and all. But by the time he got to be as old as he was, he basically didn't need any of them. I've always been teased with the idea in my remake version of having like in these courtyard areas, maybe having a few cages of the vampire worshipping cultists. You know, that Cain was supposed to have had around his mansion, maybe having some of them held prisoner here. And in one of the cages, you find a robed female that looks very similar to Uma. It would be a nice little throwback to kind of have the appearance of Uma.
Let us fall upon the puppets from the past. Bay Victor!
There always was kind of there's been many fan fictions and thoughts that it was that it would have been either Uma as a priestess or as maybe like a vampire servant. All that would have been the one to revive Vordor in time for Blood Omen 2. So having her there in kind of like a human form would give a nice little thing of people to think, oh, so that's where she was. Maybe she would almost be as old as Cain. And this part was also a bit of a tweaker, because how would I was always wondering, should I actually use another version of just the younger Cain, or maybe use like a version of a model of Elder Cain for this fight. Stand still. Except, of course, we all know that Elder Cain would never be Mobius' puppet. So I think it's always, considering the fact that he wields a single axe, is more likely it was just a little dummy illusion of Mobius's to play mind games with young Cain.
going back in time and altering the past, you turned William the Just into the Nemesis.
Aye, you have seen my plan, vampire, as I've seen your destiny. The future says you die.
But I am dead. As are you.
I knew that Mobius's hourglass was the focus of his time-sweeping magic. Farewell, sorcerer. The sands of time have ceased to flow for you.
Well done, Kane. Mobius did so love playing the trickster's part. His guise as the Oracle served his schemes well. Pity with all his plots he failed to plan for you. Come to me, my undead son. Make haste to the pillars. The stage is set for the grand finale. You will have your vengeance.
Well, we might as well finish the game now. I generally think it was more of a trick or an illusion. I can't ever see a Kane from the future following Mobius again. As we basically see through all the rest of the games, he basically despised Mobius pretty much from this point onwards. So there was no way he was ever going to follow him again. I think it was just a little, as Mobius called him, a little illusionary puppet of his. Plot hole? No, I don't think it was a plot. I don't think it was a plot hole. I think it just generally was that, just Mobius doing what he always does and playing a trickster and trying to play with Kane's mind. Oh, I love this scene. Mortanius is just such a badass.
It had to be. The Raptor's insanity poisoned all of our minds. The Circle had failed in its sworn duties. It had to be destroyed. Failed our duties? Idiot! The Circle exists for us. We don't exist for it. Our powers will save or damn Nosgoth at our whim. Stand with us, Mortanius, or die. Then I shall die.
Straight up owns that across the ass. Oh, nasty.
If the Circle is to be destroyed, you have to die as well, Necromancer. I admire your cunning, but you will not escape your fate.
Nay, I will embrace it. But my death will leave one more to take, Princeling. Finish me!
We'll have to make up a Mortanius model as well. I actually forgot that you do fight him as well before the Dark Entity.
No one indeed. Such narrow vision. Don't you see? My silencing of area and its calculated repercussions is but the first act in my theater of wrong in yours. Tragic hero. Fade Victus!
Anacroft's magic was contained within the metal of the scales and would eventually be released back into the pillar from whence it came. The scales of Anacroft I lay before the pillar of Styx. The pillar accepted its offering. Thus, it was restored. The death orb of Mortanius had given the necromancer dominion over the grave. I had thought him the last of the circle, and yet he spoke of another. Before the pillar of death, I lay the orb of Mortanius. The pillar accepted its offering.
This is another fight I think I'll have to do something to improve upon. The fact that he basically does nothing but just disappear into the floor and then jump back up is it's a little anticlimactic for what you'd expect from the Dark Entity. I'll have to think of something a little bit better for him. Maybe some big shockwave ground attacks or something. This was definitely a little too on the far too basic. Of course, with the limitations of the PlayStation, it's quite understandable, really. Lightning. I was thinking maybe more along the lines of fire. Since he very much resembles the big fire demons you see in the Soul Reaver games, and the big huge buggers. Here we go. We should of course go with the canon ending, I believe.
Once I embraced my powers, I realized that Oregon was correct. We are gods. Dark gods. And it is our duty to thin the herd.
Let's see, what's my rankings? Ooh, only 36 of 100 secrets. Prestige of a princess. Oh, how terrible. And there we have it. A classic that will always be enjoyed. Perhaps the next one will be will indeed be Soul Reaver. Oh yes, I'll be posting more of my own project again soon. I'm currently working on Malek's Bastion, so I'll be showing a few streams of that very soon. So I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Thank you for watching. Once again, go to my Twitch page and click on the subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you feel the need or the inclination to donate towards my towards the help of my project. chat you all again very, very soon. Good evening.